Okay, so this is what we need to solve for. And we're going to see how we can apply the first order differential equation into this circuit, figure 1. Okay, so in this figure, we have a battery. Okay, the battery of 40 volt. Okay, and we got our inductor of 2 and the resistor for 10 with initial condition of it, which makes t equal to 0 and it equal to 0. Okay, so now we're going to solve this loop. Okay, and in terms of logic, it's gonna be the voltage, the input voltage equal to the sum of the voltage across the circuit. Okay, across the loop. So it's gonna be E equal to VR t plus L d dt dt, and let me just write it correctly. I think I just missed. It's gonna be VL of t. Okay, let's just keep it in this form for now. This is what we're gonna get on our first loop. Okay, and we know that the representation of VR of t, it's equal to I t r. Okay, and the representation of VL of t equal to L d dt I of t. Okay, so I'll come here and then replace with the formulas. Okay, replace the voltage formulas with the component, the current, and resistor and inductor. So it's gonna be something like this: dt I t. Okay, so this is what we're going to get here. Okay, and we know already that R equal to 10. Okay, 10 ohm, E equal to 40 volts, and then L equal to 2. Okay, so I'm going to replace the value there. So it's gonna be 40 equal R equal to 10 it plus L equal to 2 d dt I t. Okay, in this equation you can see that we're working with what is the order. We actually have dt, meaning it's a first order. So this equation is actually a first order. Okay, like a first order ordinate, you can just say ODE 1. That is what we have here. Okay, so meaning we're going to use the formulas that you see here. Okay, in order to use them as these formulas, we need to write them in this form. You can see, for example, the first derivative, there's nothing there, so we need to find a way to write our equation in the exact form. Like here you can see we need to find a way to remove 2. So in a way that we're going to move forward, we're going to divide 2 by both equation. Like all the equation will be divided by 2, which will give us 40 over 2 equal 10 over 2 plus 2 over 2 d dt I t. And then you will see that these 2 will cancel out, so we're going to remain with 20 equal 5 it plus d dt. Okay, so we got this ourselves this equation. I'm going to write it in this explicit form so that we'll be able to solve it later on. So it's gonna be d dt I plus 5I d equal to 20. Okay, so now what we're gonna do here, we will use those formulas. Okay, and there's one thing that I need to mention. I'm gonna copy this block so then you can see the similarities. Okay, so this is our current equation. Okay, and we need to apply all these formulas here that you see there. So in our we need to define what is P and Q for our ODE1. Okay, and for PT, it's actually there is you should know that IT equal to Y. Okay, so in our case, so YT equal to Y. So if I have to write this equation in that form, it's gonna be D dt y plus 5y equal to 20. Okay, and now you should be able to tell that this is PT. Okay, and this one is QT that you see there. Okay, so that's been said, and then now if I have to write this equation, I'm gonna make some space. Let me just okay, so we're gonna get this equation, and then if we have to write it to use these formulas, we know already what is PT. So PT equal to 5. So I'm going just to make sure that we got it right. So I'm going to write PT equal to 5, QT equal to 20. Okay, so let me just work this side, and then I'm gonna use that formula. So we're gonna start with the second formula. We're going to use this formula. We already have this form. Okay, we're going to use that formula there. Okay, this is the form that we got. So, and this one, it's gonna give us e to the power of the integral of pt, which equal to 5 dt. Okay, and if you have to take the integral of, it's gonna give us the integral of 5, it's gonna give us 5t. Okay, so this is what you get for m. Now let's go for this other formula that you see here. Okay, so it's gonna be we're going just to write it in that way. We know that y equal to it, so it's gonna be I of t, okay, times what we just got equal to the integral of what we just got. What is qt? Qt, it's actually equal to 20. Okay, then we're going to write dt here. So we're gonna have to solve for this equation, then we'll be able to get our final answer. Okay, and all of this that you see here, so we're going just only to work out this side. Okay, and later on we're going to replace what we got. So this will be equal to 20. Since this is a constant, I'm gonna take it out. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep only the term with t inside this integral. Okay, so we need to integrate this one the way that you see. Okay, so and the integral of e, it will be equal this formula I'm gonna give you. Whenever you solve for the integral, okay, the integral of e to the power of okay, let's say for example this, the answer that you will get, it will be e power of 80 over a. This is how you're going to solve for, and also the way that we get, this is the formula that we use. Let me just write it called, this is t, this is the integral, the formula. Okay, now we're going just to pay attention. So now this whole equation is going to be equal to 20 e 5t over 5, okay, plus c, and remember there's also plus c here, plus constant. Now this is gonna give us to be equal to, and then you can see that we can simplify 5 and 20, which is gonna give us 4, and then it's gonna be 4 e 5t plus c. Okay, and then once you get this equation, we can now solve for our initial equation, which was we need to make, so we just got this form here, equal to 4 e 5 et plus c, and then we need also to replace the value here. Okay, so, and we know that m is actually this one, so in this equation we're going to have to write it in this form. It's gonna be I t, what is the value of m, so we're going to replace m here. Okay, and m it's e, this is the answer of m. It's gonna be e 5t equal 4 e 5t plus c. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, since I don't have enough space, I'm going just to copy the last two equations this side, so then you should be able to see what is going on. Okay, and this is what we got. Okay, and we replace the value of just put one on underneath this one, so then you can see what's going on. Okay, so we just replace this value. Okay, and we know this is what we got this side for m. Now once you get this answer, you need to solve for it. Okay, so we need to solve for the current. So if I have to solve for the current, I'm gonna have it equal to, I'm going to divide both sides by it plus c. Okay, so before I get to this equation, let me just see if I can just divide both sides. So you need to divide both sides by I 5t, and then divide this side by 5t. Okay, so then this one we cancel out with this one, so which you're going to remain with it, which is equal to this equation. Okay, and further you can just this is the same as, you can write this equation like this: e 5t plus c e 5t. Okay, and then you can see that these two will cancel out. Okay, so we're going to remain with 4 plus c e 5t. Okay, and then we have these rules in math. Okay, if e to the power of a t, let's say let me say, when we have something like, you can also write it in this form. You put negative next to a. Okay, you can do that. This is also another formula that we're going to apply with exponential, another exponential formula that we're going to use here. Okay, so we will get the current is gonna be equal to 4 plus e minus 5t. Okay, and what you see here, we're going to have times c. Don't forget, you're not gonna forget about c. So we're going to have our c here. Okay, so meaning this is the answer for our current. Okay, and we got our initial condition that I mentioned here. Okay, so we're going to take that initial condition into account. So we know this is what we need to find in the final. Okay, and this equation is similar to I of t. Okay, meaning t equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to replace it into this equation. So we have something like this: of 0 equal, let me just use some other color, so plus c e negative 5. Okay, so it's gonna be 0 and 0 there. Just use this color. So we're going to replace t with 0. Okay, so it's gonna give us, okay, and since we know that all of this will be equal to 0, so we can just write this equation like this: 0 equal to 4 plus c, okay, and e to the power of 0, because 0 times 5, it's gonna times negative 5 is gonna give us 0. So e, and we know that e to the power of 0 equal to 1. So there's also this rules. We have another rule for e. Here are rules. Now we're going to have 4 plus c. Okay, so 4 plus c equal to 0. Okay, so this is what we're gonna get: 4 plus c equal to 0, meaning c equal to negative 4 if I have to solve out for c. So this is what we're gonna get as the answer for c. Okay, so c will be equal to negative 4, and then I'm gonna have to replace the value of c into our final equation that we got. Okay, so I'm going just to create some space. I think I'm running out of space, so let's move this formula this side. Okay, maybe delete a few things. Okay, so when you get to that, you're just gonna replace the value of c. It's gonna be, this is what you're gonna get, it equal to 4 plus, and c equal to negative 4, e negative 5t, which is gonna give you 4 negative 4 e negative 5. Okay, and in the final you can write it like this: 1 negative e to the power negative 5t. That will be our final answer for this question. Okay, so this is the answer that we get to that question. So if you want to see everything here from where we started and where we ended,